My 30M girlfriend, 25F, with ADHD is a messy roommate. She wants to have a family soon. Will the messiness just get worse? Can it be improved? My girlfriend and I have been together for a few years. She's getting to the point where she wants to have kids and has made that very clear. We've been living together for 2 years, and I've noticed her messiness/disorganization tends to accompany any depressive episodes she has. She's been in therapy for about a year, and also began medication for some other issues. She also no longer takes Adderall because of the crash. But she does take another antidepressant that also happens to help with ADHD symptoms. My living area has never been this messy. There are plastic bags on the ground, trash/wrappers left in random spots. Kitchen items are never put back in the same spot, and our bathroom is nearly always trashed with used floss or Q-tips. I'm getting exhausted with always politely reminding her to pick up after herself, and I don't want to turn this into nagging when someone should be my partner instead of a child. I pick up after her as I go about my day, but it's still overwhelming and never seems to end. She also breaks or loses things at an unbelievable rate. She really wants to start a family, as in within the next 1 to 2 years. At this stage, I'm worried about having kids with her due to how messy and disorganized she is, and I don't know how to bring this up without her feeling attacked. I feel like if we have kids and the house stays this messy or gets worse, and I'm not just picking up after one adult but also a baby, I will leave to keep my sanity. Is this fixable? Has anyone with ADHD had kids and magically gotten better? Has anyone with ADHD or an ADHD partner improved things? And if so, how? TL, doctor, my partner has ADHD and is already in therapy and taking medication for other things. My living area has never been this messy and I'm getting overwhelmed with cleaning up after her, or asking her to clean up after herself. She wants to have kids soon, but the thought of cleaning up after her and a baby is giving me anxiety. Is this fixable before I throw in the towel? If so, how? Me and my girlfriend both have ADHD and are pretty organized and clean around our apartment. My mom has ADHD and is the polar opposite. All hoarder type of a mess all the time at her house. It took a lot to learn how to manage my surroundings in forms of cleanliness and still to maintain it, but I doubt I'd switch over to messy if I had kids, cause the relatively organized living space is super important for my ADHD brain to stay organized in my head. I'd say learning how to cope with her own ADHD is important before moving to a stage of life like caring for kids or whatever. It fucking sucked dealing with my mom not effectively know how to manage her ADHD while I was a kid trying to learn how to manage mine. As the messy ADHD girlfriend, there's a difficult line in figuring out how much you can fairly expect. I found the book The ADHD Effect on Marriage by Melissa Wolof helpful for both me and my boyfriend. Things have hugely improved with us since I got diagnosed as an adult, learned a lot, got therapy, and got medicated. Things that we have accepted are beyond me. We've just found workarounds. Some things are impossible for me, but now I can find a different ADHD-friendly approach to achieve the same goal, or a goal that makes everyone happy. I've also been working with a therapist, for emotional and relationship stuff and communication, and ADHD coach for practical stuff, organization, losing stuff, keeping tidy. My boyfriend is involved in that. We talk through our goals and compromises together, but managing my ADHD is my responsibility. My boyfriend helps and has patience, and I appreciate that. But it's my responsibility. If Adderall had drawbacks, she can talk to her doc about mitigating the crash. I have at times used the following with success: a carefully timed coffee, exercise, extra medication, or trying other medication, or trying something. There's so many non-med options, but it's her responsibility. And I don't know how to bring this up without her feeling attacked. This is probably the biggest worry for me. You're gonna likely have many difficult and stressful conversations ahead if you have kids, and you need to be able to have them in a healthy way. I have ADHD and it's definitely a struggle to keep clean, but it's definitely my responsibility. Some suggestions, if she would take them: so many reminder apps. I have note apps, calendar apps, habit apps, anything that pops up notifications for reminders. Also maybe writing a cleaning schedule and keeping it on the wall in the main area where it's easier to see. Our bathroom is nearly always trashed with used floss or Q-tips. She also has to learn to work with it. I have a trash can next to my bathroom mirror. Because of this, I have boxes I put stuff in that would otherwise clutter desks and furniture, because I'm not putting it away. I don't know that having kids ever makes anything better. If anything, the stress of having children exacerbates problems. So it seems like your girlfriend needs to do a better job of managing her ADHD and put more effort into organization and cleanliness. This is anecdotal, but everyone I know who's had kids have homes that are typically in some state of disarray because kids themselves are disorganized and messy, and there's not always time to constantly run around after them picking things up until they're old enough to be taught to do it themselves. So, I'd expect the mess in your home to increase quite a bit if you have kids. It could also be a safety issue for a child, since they tend to put everything in their mouth. If mommy leaves trash bags on the floor, don't be surprised if it ends up jammed in your child's esophagus. My 28F husband, 28M, repeatedly snoozes his alarm while I'm trying to sleep, for basically the entire duration of our marriage, 3.5 years. My husband and I have struggled with mornings. He is a doctor, and his alarm goes off anywhere between 4:30 and 6 a.m. depending on what shift he's working. These days, I am juggling working full-time in news media from home while also handling the bulk of childcare for our 9-month daughter because of the pandemic. Things are particularly stressful and we are both exhausted, even though I will readily admit I get more sleep than he does and usually don't get up until round 7. Unfortunately, our respective exhaustions, his from long hours and difficulties at work, mine from balancing baby plus career at home, manifest in opposite ways. We go to bed together at around 10:30, 11 p.m., and he sleeps mostly deeply and fully through the night because he's so drained, while I'm usually up once or twice at minimum and am a very, very light sleeper. This means that when his alarm goes off at whatever time, 4:30, 5, etc., and he snoozes it, I am immediately woken while he passes back out. Some mornings, he snoozes it multiple times, and then I'm just lying awake in bed waiting for it to go off again or doing the work of waking him myself. Occasionally I am able to go back to sleep, but it can take a really long time. I've also been somewhat trained to now just be awake until his alarm goes off that second, or third, time because my body knows it's just going to be woken back up again in 10 minutes. His alarm also gets louder every time it goes off, and with a sleeping baby down the hall I experience a lot of anxiety at the prospect of her being woken up, too. As you can imagine, I am writing because this happened this morning, and I think we both feel at the end of our rope. When I snapped, he sarcastically said, "Oh, yeah, your life is so hard." I understand that he hates being woken up multiple times by an angry wife, but I feel like his mom and entitled to my own sleep. I feel angry that he won't just get out of bed the first time. Edit to add, we do not have a spare room to sleep in, and also we love sharing a space. Sleeping in separate rooms is not an option. Too long didn't read, my husband's alarm wakes me up, but not him, and we are both losing patience with each other over it. Help. I'll get to options in a minute, but the fact he got sarcastic and tried to devalue your work life is concerning. Childcare is a full-time job in of itself, which you now have to balance with your career. I get he's tired, but you're tired and putting in work too, and that shouldn't be looked down on. Have you two talked about it? Tell him exactly what you wrote here. In terms of solutions, I second move by the alarm clock to other end of the room if you can't do 2 bedrooms. Good luck, hop. Get him a smartwatch. They have alarms that vibrate as to only wake the user. Here's one. I will ask him about it. Get him a Fitbit. They have silent alarms. He has a smartwatch. Move the alarm away from the bed. He will need to get up to turn it off. This makes getting out of bed much easier. Exclamation mark. So simple. I love it. We'll talk to him about this. My husband and I are in a similar situation minus the baby. He is a deep, sleep through alarms person. I'm a light, wake up when the floor creaks person. He has to be up at 5:30. I don't have to be up until 7:30. When we moved in together, I instituted a 9 p.m. bedtime, because he would stay up till after midnight when he was on his own. Lack of sleep makes it harder to get up. This also didn't necessarily mean lights out, go to sleep by 9. For us it meant, in bed to spend some time just talking to each other of doing a crossword puzzle on our phone together. On the other end of the morning, because I am a light sleeper who can't get back to sleep after an alarm, I just started getting up when his alarm first went off. Make breakfast for us, then I start some of my household tasks or read my book or work on a hobby with the extra hour and a half-ish before I have to get ready to leave to work. Having the extra time to do some stuff for myself made my afternoons a little nicer because I wasn't trying to fit it all in after work. This has been working for us for 4-ish years now. Hope you can work together to find something that works for you. Edit to add, my husband also uses an alarm that requires him to solve a math problem to snooze. It helps him get his brain thinking and waking up. Girlfriend doesn't understand my co-parenting. So, M41, been in a relationship for 2.5 years, divorced for 4, separated for 6 years. My current GF, F37 has never met, nor wanted to meet, my ex-wife as she lives a fair distance away and as she has her 2 kids most of the time. It's easier for me to go to her, which I do on a regular basis. She's recently been getting annoyed about my ex, and the dynamics of our co-parenting routine. She's annoyed that my ex rings my phone to speak to the kids. She's annoyed that my ex hasn't bought me out of the house we had, where she still lives, as the bank won't give her the additional borrowing she needs to buy me out. She thinks I'm within my rights to force her to sell, but I know that legally I can't, nor would I want to for the kids' sake. She was annoyed at Christmas because I couldn't spend the full day with her because I wanted to see my 3 children on Christmas Day. Me and my ex have generally always split Christmas Day. She now seems to think I'm very pally with my ex and we have chats, but all I communicate with her about is the kids, and we don't socialize or speak outside of co-parenting issues or logistics. We've had a fraught weekend as this all came to a head, and my girlfriend is upset with me. But I maintain I've done nothing wrong, and now we're at an impasse where she thinks I'm doing it all wrong. Her kid's dad has them 2 nights a fortnight and therefore she doesn't need to speak to him outside of that arrangement, whereas I have mine 3 days a week, different days each week to suit work. So there's a need to arrange pickups and drop-offs, homeschooling currently, etc. I don't see that I've done anything wrong. But she is adamant that I'm too close to my ex-wife and I'm not getting anywhere with explaining this to her, and she's made her mind up. It's really affecting our relationship because she thinks I'm still at my ex-wife's beck and call, that I haven't moved on because I'm still on the mortgage. But in my eyes I'm just trying my best to co-parent effectively and provide a healthy atmosphere for my children. Am I in the wrong here? Too long didn't read. Current GF thinks my co-parenting style is all wrong, and I disagree. I was going to say she was too selfish to understand your life, but considering she has kids herself, she's just too stupid to bother with. You need to make it perfectly clear to her that beyond you and your ex being over, this is not a fight she will ever win with you. That you will never prioritize her over the happiness of your children, and if he has a problem with that, there's the door.